Within 2 years, alhamdulillah, we've reached about 5 million followers across various platforms.
The username that you have, the Sunnah guy, in Instagram, approximately has now 2.7 million followers.
On Instagram,
Which is amazing, mashallah. Why did you call it the Sunnah guy?
So now from 2 million to 3 million, it's going to be another 4 months. And so I'm just sat there thinking, like, this is having a real impact.
Now let's go into content. What's the secret right now? The secret sauce behind your rapid social media growth?
I start with the hook. And the hook of a video is always something that has to have 3 key elements. The first is clarity, the second is curiosity, and the third is relatability. Just worry about keeping a better packaging every time. Make the wrapper better. It's like businesses, right?
How can creators manage their time without burning out?
I see myself as the Dubai on social media, which is basically create a welcoming environment for everyone, make it valuable for everyone.
All right, we're here to start with another special episode with a great friend of mine who's coming all the way from the UK. Sunnah guy, Shoaib. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, brother? You okay?
I'm good. Doing wonderful in the city of Dubai. And of course, I always say for the guests that are coming, who is Shoaib in this case?
So myself, I'm going to give you a bit of a brief introduction. So I grew up here in the, I'm not here. I grew up in the UK. I'm so used to saying here. I grew up in the UK and born and raised in the UK. My father was born and raised in the UK. My son was born and raised in the UK. So I'm kind of embedded with the culture there. I grew up going to a standard school, a mixed school, going through the education system. As I got older, I then discovered, a love for my religion. As I discovered this love for my religion, I had this little gap of loneliness where I started to feel lonely as I was practicing my religion by myself. And then I went into this mode when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, where I tried to create like a brotherhood, like a nice environment in my community. As I started to do that, I was mentoring younger people than me. I was doing like youth nights, like games, like having fun in the mosque and stuff like that. And then what ended up happening is I got very much attached to these young people, helping them with the life, helping them get married, helping them get a job, helping them with, different aspects and elements of their life for the foreseeable future, which was like the next, you could say, 10 years. And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, it was quarantine, lockdown, no one could leave. I then sat there at home wondering what to do with my life, because I'm so used to the community. I'm so used to the brotherhood. I'm so used to being around people. And then I said, I either start a business or I either open a YouTube channel. I've wanted to kind of start a YouTube channel. I want to impact people and help people like I always have been, but I want to do it in a digital way. Not knowing how to use a camera, nothing. I brought my first camera. I started a YouTube channel, started making short films that were kind of Islamically, had like an Islamic theme to it. Don't backbite, have good friends, these small lessons. And then that got traction. Then I went ahead and I made the first ever Islamic movie that was shown in UK cinemas. And it was the first of its kind. It was screened across the UK. And when that movie was aired, we had it in multiple cities across the UK in the commercial cinemas. And then that's when I realized, okay, maybe I have a talent in this. Maybe I have a unique skill. And then I reflected, once the movie was made, it's like the Olympic athlete getting the gold medal. He sits down and he's like, well, what do I do now? And I then reflected and I said, hold on a minute. I scripted the movie. I directed the movie. I edited the movie. And I'm thinking, whoa, this is did I just do this? Then I started to kind of really study short form content. I started my Instagram page. I combined the years of public speaking, mentorship, and now creative filmmaking, put that all together to package my videos. And within 2 years, alhamdulillah, we've reached about 5 million followers across the various platforms. So that's the backstory in brief.
That's impressive. I mean, the username that you have, the Sunnah guy, in Instagram, approximately has now 2.7 million followers.
On Instagram,
which is amazing, mashallah. Now, why did you call it the Sunnah guy?
When you first think of these names, you don't think about it too hard. It's like choosing your email at the age of 12, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be something funky, right? Now, obviously, when I chose this name, I was deeply engrossed in kind of helping young people discover their religious identity. And I was doing a few different things at the time. I was selling Zamzam water. I was selling ajwa dates. I was doing the hijama therapy. I was taking people for umrah. I was giving da'wah in the community. So all these things I was doing, they were entwined with the sunnah, the prophetic tradition. And I just thought, you know what, like I'm already doing all of this stuff. Why don't I just call myself the sunnah guy? And honestly, there wasn't a deep level of thought. It was the name that was available on Instagram and the domain name was available as well. I said, hey, you know what, man? We need a name to start.
It was like an opportunity. Here we go. We're gonna take that name.
Let's just take it, And then I just ran with it. And that's the story behind the name. No regrets, Alhamdulillah. It's obviously now my kind of audience is a lot more non-Muslims and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel it's a good opportunity to give them that gentle, soft exposure to Islam as well.
But when did you start this Instagram page exactly?
I started the Instagram page, well, actually posting on Instagram properly at the end of 2022.
All right.
Yeah, so around about November, December time in 2022, that's when I really started the Instagram page. And so, yeah, just over 2 years now.
MashaAllah. So in 2 years, you had 2.7 million followers
Yeah.
coming to you because they really like your content. But how did you know, or what was the turning point you realized that you had a real impact?
I'd say it's probably the movie, bro. I'd say it's probably the movie because that showed me that. Because what I did was that I realized, hold on a minute, no one else has ever done this before, right? Because we kept it like an Islamic religious theme with a religious lesson, etc. We didn't compromise on certain values and stuff like that. And I realized, hang on a minute, like no one's done this. Why? Why has no one ever done this before? And then I realized, okay, no one's crazy enough to edit a whole movie themselves. No one's crazy enough to write like a 40-page script themselves. Directing actors, you need to be slightly crazy to kind of, make sure you manage all 70, 80 people, etc. Like, and then I realized, whoa, hold on a minute. Like, that gave me a lot of confidence. That gave me a lot of confidence. Now, the movie was great, but it's a movie. People sit there with popcorn and eat it, and they watch the movie. It's not like, anything incredible. I thought it was going to be really impactful, and I was making it really impactful. And yeah, there was a few nice scenes, etc. But it wasn't actually the movie that was the objective. I realized this afterwards. It was actually the training that I got of doing something for 2 years, focused in COVID with no distractions, social distancing. You're in your house. You have to just get the work done. And that taught me hard work, and that taught me that I have a specific unique skill, which is obviously creative filmmaking and creative directing. And then when I started posting on Instagram, it honestly took me. It was just starting to grow and grow and grow and grow, and I'm just here getting feedback, and I just quickly hit 100,000 followers, and 200,000, then 300,000, then I get to 1 million after like a year and a half, and then from 1 million to 2 million was 4 months, and now from 2 million to 3 million is going to be another 4 months. And so I'm just sat there thinking, like, this is having a real impact. Then I got the opportunity to travel the world. So I got invited to Canada, to Australia, all over Europe, etc., to give motivational talks. And that's where I met loads of people, and they said, your videos have changed my life. And I'm like, whoa, like, I did not even know that it was reaching all of these people. So it wasn't a one moment, but it was a variation of different moments that really made me realize that these videos are having a great impact.
We'll definitely talk more about the social media aspect, but I want to go back a little bit about you. Was there this struggle that deeply shaped your life to now becoming the sunnah guy, becoming the guy who's really about the community, about the Muslim community, and really trying to make everyone there grow?
Yeah, I would say if I look back at it, bro, I think the biggest thing for me is I got bullied as a kid in the West, and I was different. And I always give this example of the omelette sandwich, right? The omelette sandwich example is actually very, very unique. And that was one day our teacher told us to come into school and bring a sandwich. My mum cooked an omelette. I'm like, what the hell is she doing cooking an omelette? Like, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, omelette? That just sounds weird. I'm 10 years old. I want to look cool in front of my friends. We go into school. Everyone's got their sandwiches out. This person's got like standard salmon and cheese, cucumber, tuna. It's just standard, normal stuff. Everyone's playing it safe. They come around to me and I've got an omelette sandwich. What? That's weird. So I'm hiding my head. I'm just like, oh my God. Everyone's laughing at me. But then when they taste the sandwiches, everyone's else is like a 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 5. They come and taste mine. It's like a 10 out of 10. Everyone's like, oh my God, come and taste this one. And the omelette sandwich, which initially embarrassed me, and I got bullied for it. and I got picked on for it. By the end of the class, everyone was cheering me on and like, yeah, it's the best sandwich, it's the most tastiest. One thing I learned from there, bro, was that in life, you will always do things that not everyone else is going to do. And you will always strive to have ambition that not everyone else will have. And initially, they will laugh at you. But if you really push yourself and you go and achieve the greatness, then they will ask you how you did it. And so when I was younger, I got bullied for being very different. I got bullied for example, taking dance classes at school. I got bullied for wanting to, create, an atmosphere of like a religious brotherhood and, youngsters, all young kids, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, etc., teaching them about their deen and trying to get them into the mosque and stuff like that. And I felt lonely myself when I was young. And I feel that because I felt that gap, that loneliness, I don't want anyone to feel like that. So I'm always conscious about when we meet a new person, a new brother comes into the mosque or comes into our gatherings or whatever, I always ask his name. I always find out more about him. I make his problems mine. And this is like synonymous to when I take people for Umrah. When they come with us, they feel this sense of genuine love and brotherhood is because I never felt that when I was younger. When I was a child, I got bullied, I got picked on. In every year of my life, in second primary and secondary school, I had someone make fun of me. I had someone say something about me. Why? Because I was different. I was more expressive. I did drama classes. I did the things that the standard guys in the UK, they don't do this. They're all just nonchalant and cool and they just like, just chin up and like, what's going on? And, they don't know how to flirt with a girl or anything like that. So they just make fun of her and like, whereas I was different. When I was in school, I would buy flowers for the girls. So obviously we're talking about a totally different subject, but the point being is I was slightly different. And I felt because I got bullied, I never want anyone to feel like that. And that I feel shaped me into having the compassion that I have for other people, I feel.
So with all that followers and fame that you're getting, how do you stay authentic when millions of people are watching you?
Very good question. It's something that I guess I get those values from my religion because it's not easy, especially when everything is designed, filters. You look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to look polished. But I find that for me, one of the key things is having a community around you, having people around you. Both of my younger brothers, they study not too far from here in Medina. They both live in Medina. They are students in the Jamia, in the university there. They are grounded. I have good people around me. I have people who know me from young. They advise me. I give access to people to advise me and tell me the truth. The team that I have in my business that work with me, all of them they don't have like strong filters with me. They have very few filters. They can tell me like I don't think this is right, etc. Like if I was to do something like do like a shirtless video on social media, they'd all pull me up. They're like, we don't want to represent that. We don't want to represent you. So the staff that I employ in my business, I make sure that these people align with my values so that when I contradict my values or if I go off or if I veer off and I don't become authentic, guess what? They can pull me up because we all share the same values. So I feel having the right environment and people around you helps. And I think probably the most important thing beyond anything else is having a connection with my creator, having a religious connection with God. And I think when you have that and you have a sincere connection with God, not the one where it's like making sure that people see that you're connected to God or making sure that people see that you pray, but a genuine one where you feel hopeless in life without Him, I feel having something like that is beyond the most liberating and the most incredible feeling. And the relationship with God is the pillar in my life that keeps me grounded, you know?
I always believe there are three things that can potentially shape a person. One is the environment. Second is the people around you. Third is you, yourself.
Yes,
And when it comes to the environment, like they say, the environment shapes you.
it does.
When we talk about the people, you're the average of the people you surround yourself with.
Correct, yeah.
When we talk about you, for example, if you're a humble person, the more you become famous or the more you have money, the more you become more humble.
I believe that money and fame is an amplifier.
Yes.
If you are humble genuinely, it will show you how humble you actually are. And if you are genuinely giving and compassionate, and the more money you have, you will give more as
You'll
well.
continue to be more of what you are.
Correct.
That's why I say
Yeah,
you.
wow, yes. Very true.
So these three things are very important when it comes to people. Like, if you want to know people, how they'll shape to be in the future, just look at those three things.
Correct, yeah.
And you'll know.
Yeah.
Actually. And if you want to change what you are to something different, then you have to change your environment. You have to change the people around you. You have to change yourself sometimes, because it's not sometimes the people are not the reason that you're doing the things that you're doing right now, or neither the environment. Maybe it's just you. You're the one, yourself. Maybe you have a certain ego. Maybe you have a certain thought process. Maybe you have a certain personality that's not really improving your life in any shape or form.
Very, very true. You know, bro, I'll tell you one thing. We had these very generous brothers from an organization called U-Drive. They let us borrow their G-Wagon,
Mhm.
the Brabus. I was with my manager, and you know, we were driving it, and I don't know, I liked it, but at the same time, I didn't like it as well. But it was just because, yeah, it looked good, it felt good, but I just felt my soul creeping up on me, my nafs, just my desires, just slowly like, this looks good. You look good when they open the door and stuff like that. I just felt, oh, like this is getting a bit too much. So I had to just go into my room, and I just had to read the Quran. I just had to just sit there, and I just had to reflect. I'm like, okay, just relax. Like, I know you're in Dubai. Just chill out, man. Don't don't do too much.
It could be too tempting, huh?
It is too tempting.
Getting all those luxuries right there in front of your eyes.
Oh man.
But I always say, you should never like prevent good opportunities that come to you.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, every good opportunity, you can think of it as a blessing in your life. And you
Yes.
can be thankful to God,
Yeah.
Allah.
Yes.
And being thankful will inspire more things to come into your life. Good
Absolutely,
things.
bro. Absolutely.
So it's never like I usually ask people, do you ever feel guilty being rich? That's what I usually ask them. And people say no, because I worked hard for it.
Yeah.
When you worked something hard, you definitely believe that you deserve the good rewards that come from it. And if you're also thankful for the rewards that come from it, I don't see anything wrong with that.
There's a verse in the Quran where Allah says, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. So show and display the blessings of your Lord that He has given you. And correct, there is an element that if you have it in your hand and not in your heart, I think that's the key thing here. You know, enjoy the blessings, because God didn't just create one type of fruit. He created thousands of fruits. For what reason? He could have just created one, but He created it so that we have the taste, the enjoyment. There is an enjoyment in this world, but keep it in your hand and not in your heart.
To simplify it, I would say simply do not attach to anything except Allah.
Absolutely, bro. This is it.
The self thing of attachment, that's when lies the problem. You're so attached to materialistic thing. You're attached to that one specific person. You're attached to, I don't know, that status or reputation. That's when it becomes a problem. But when you start detaching from everything around you and only attached to Allah, then I believe your life will be in good hands.
Couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, absolutely, bro. You're right, man. 100%.
Now let's go into content
Sure.
a little bit. What's the secret right now, the secret sauce behind your rapid social media growth?
Okay, so when I was younger, one of the struggles that I had was transitioning from advertising our events. So we used to have events in the mosque. So we used to basically advertise on Facebook, but that's where all the elders are. So then I started advertising on Snapchat, and I started making videos on Snapchat. And then we started getting youngsters to come to the park. We had like 300-400 kids, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, throwing water balloons at each other, big water fight, everyone having loads of fun, big campfire, barbecue. And then we all sit around the campfire and we share some nice Islamic reminders, just good reminders about having to kind of have good friends and, you know, be grateful and make sure that you turn to God and you leave your past sins behind and stuff like that. But one of the key things that we used to do is we used to add like a small little humming background nasheed just to elevate the ambience, to get people into the mood, into that feeling, into that, because it's dark, the campfire's lit, then the background sound is playing, and then someone speaks some wisdom, some reminders. Oof, it just hits your heart differently. And I started doing that when I wanted to get more people to come to the mosque and more people to come to the religion and more people to come towards the Creator and change their lives, because that's what my mission in life was. So I understood the art of instilling emotions into people. How do you instill emotions into people? Because remember, I'm focused on that one objective. How do I help transform their lives? Obviously, it's God, the one that transforms. But I'm thinking, what can I do? Let me find out what is there? What is there? What is there? I need to find different ways. So we landed on this one method, which is get them in that environment, elevate the ambience by playing some nice, emotional nasheed background sound, and then give them a hard hitting reminder. Then I realized the art of storytelling and instilling emotions is something that has to come authentically from the heart. So when I speak, every time I sit down and I talk, I take a moment. I don't just read a script. I sit there and I imagine someone that I'm going to speak to. I pause for a second and then I deliver my words. And I feel through that there is this element of authenticity and also emotions that people feel from my videos. And when they feel that, they resonate with it, along with the fact that I mentored young people for over 10 years. I know their problems inside out, so I understand humans very well. Now comes a part of the content creation and the actual engineering of the video. I start with the hook. And the hook of a video is always something that has to have 3 key elements. The first is clarity. The second is curiosity, right? And the third is relatability. So if I mention something at the start, you need to use a word within the first 1 to 3 seconds that everyone will understand. What word? If I use the word baby, restaurant, food, cooking, door, eat, sleep, you use basic terminology at the start of your video that allows people to quickly get a reference inside their mind, so they don't need to start searching in their mind. So if I say something like physiotherapists, on many occasions they make you've lost half the people because they're rummaging around in their brain looking for some reference. Or what does he mean? What does he? No, give them a quick. It has to be sharp. It has to be quick. Make it clear, make it relatable, and get them curious. So what that does is that you don't need to act like a fool to stop the scroll. All my videos are nice and slow. I don't use sensory edits. I'm very slow in my tone. I'm very poised, but I use words that are going to stop the scroll because I do it consciously. And then in the middle of your video, this is where your message is. Give your message, but don't add fluff to it. Don't start. If you talk about your message, give it directly, straight away. Right? I'll give you an example of one of my videos that hit 20 million views. I say, a bottle of water is £1 from the shops. Now, everyone knows what a bottle of water is, right? £1 from the shops. Yeah, they can relate straight away. But now they're curious. What does it mean? Okay, I want to hear this. I want to know what this is. So they stop the scroll because people are doom scrolling. They just keep scrolling like zombies. And then the last thing that you do is you end with you could say kind of like a mic drop moment, a statement that makes a video feel complete. It's like an itch that needs to be scratched. If you end the video abruptly without ending it properly, it's like the itch is still there. What happened at the end? No, you need to end the video. You need to package the video, tie it with the bow at the end. If you don't do that, then the video won't go viral. Why? Because the end of the video needs to have this complete nature to it. It has to have closure. Humans instinctively are drawn towards narrative closure. We love it when the hero saves the girl, when the villain dies, when the story ends, when the sunset happens. Why? Because for us, we want things to end. We don't feel settled. We can't sleep at night not knowing, did the boy get the girl? Did they end up getting married? Like, that can't keep you up. It keeps you up at night. So therefore, your video has to have this finality element to it. It has to have a closure to it. You tie these 3 elements in and you package it in the right way. That is when you will have astronomical growth.
So very sound advice and very powerful advice for people listening. It's a very careful analysis that you've done right now. But how do you find out, like, some creators struggle to keep their audience engaged over time? So let's say if I create one great video, how can I continue to create multiple great videos across?
Any creator who's starting out, very good question. Any creator starting out, The first thing that they need to do is they need to understand that any good business idea is another business idea just made better. The best businesses are not the ones that have their own ideas. Netflix isn't a unique idea. Netflix is blockbuster digital, right? Everything is different. And so therefore, Amazon isn't a new idea. Amazon is just packaged differently. Amazon took all the high street shops and they said, we're going to package it online and we're going to give a faster delivery and next day delivery, Amazon Prime, and we're going to do easy customer service. The return, it's fine. You can give the item back even after using it for 30 days. Amazon made the e-commerce experience unique, and this is why they became successful. As a new creator, your job isn't to come up with a genius idea every single time. Meta recently introduced SEO, search engine optimization, for Instagram. So go onto Instagram search bar, type in your niche, go to ChatGPT, type in, hey, give me 20 keywords and phrases that I can use to search for viral videos within my niche, and then mention your niche. Get the 20 keywords, put those keywords in one by one in Instagram, watch the top 10 videos that went viral, look at all of them within your niche, and then pick the best ones for them, and then package them differently. And
Is it the same context and the context of the video or different context?
you're just taking inspiration.
All right.
So some might be like a meme video, some might be just a text, some might be a talking head video, but you're not there to basically copy that word for word. You're there to take the best bits, take it, get inspiration, and then create a different packaging. I'll give you an example, bro. I made a video, and it was, I literally said the same thing, and then, okay, so I'll give you an example. I said something along the lines of, one day your father will pass away, and the day your father passes away, you as a man will realize that no one in your life was more important than your father. I said that. That got about 500,000 views. Not a lot, right? Then I simply 6 months later remade that video, but I said, one day you will bury your father, and that day you will realize you lost the only man who wanted to see you do better than him. Same thing, packaged differently, 65 million views.
But did you learn from somewhere else, or was this just you changed the word?
I knew that this video is impactful because I saw a viral video before this on Instagram somewhere else, speaking about a similar concept. But I thought I'd word it differently and it didn't work. So let me try it again. And you see, what you have to realize is that it's just about packaging. Everything is about packaging. You don't need to worry about keeping your audience engaged. Just worry about keeping a better packaging every time. Make the wrapper better. It's like businesses, right? If you run a gym, you don't just say, for example, New Year's offer. What do? New Year's offer, Valentine's offer, Easter offer. Why? Summer offer, 6-week summer boot camp body. It's packaging. It's the same thing, but it's packaging. That's how humans, again, we're probably giving all the secrets away from like a psychological perspective, but humans, they go about life like this. Don't think that they're scrutinizing your page. They're not. They just need to be re-engaged through new packaging. That's all it is.
It's very interesting that you say. So, for example, let's say we did have multiple content that we have posted long ago, 3 months back, 4 months back. Should I just repost the same content, or should I repackage it, as you say, and make a new content of the same concept and just post it?
If it got more than 10 million views, you can just post it again after 6 months. And this is what the experts say. But
after 6 months?
Yeah, after 6 months. Give it 6 months.
Okay.
That way, it just kind of goes out of the algorithm a little bit, and it's no longer circulating. Then you can just post it again. But what would be better is get all of your most viral videos, and obviously I'm just giving all the secret bloody away, right? So get your most viral videos, just repackage them again in a different way, word it differently, wear a different clothes, in a different environment, with a different tone, and just change the hook a little bit here or there. The main message is the same, package it slightly differently, and just experiment.
Wonderful, wonderful. But this is a funny thing that I found out in Instagram. And I was talking with a friend of mine. I was like, what if I share secrets? What if I share some valuable things that, I'm just, I have a part of my course or I have a part of my product and I'm still putting it there. And he asked me this question, like, do you even remember the reel that you watched yesterday?
You don't.
You don't.
You honestly
You never
don't.
know. Like, you never, I can't even remember what I watched today
Yeah.
based on the reels because how fast
Oh,
just
yeah.
scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
I think it's important to remember that social media consumption is instinctive. It's not conscious. People don't say, right, let me clear my desk. Let me get my phone out. Okay, we will now scroll. No one does that. Everyone is doing it from a perspective of boredom. You do it when you're waiting for the train. You do it when you're on the toilet. You do it when you're just chilling. You do it when you're in bed. You don't do it because it's like a part of your day. Right, okay, let me just now sit down. We're going to scroll today. No,
Or I'm going to take my notes and paper and going to write whatever permission I'm going to get
it
from
doesn't
this.
happen. You're just scrolling instinctively. So you need to become someone memorable by just providing constant value. That's how it works.
And I think it's a good idea. Like, don't worry about sharing your secrets or sharing your value because you don't know that person's not going to remember. And even if he does, sometimes a lot of people don't want to take the action unless they have that person working with them.
Honestly speaking, you're right. And exactly that. And I also feel that those that are looking to monetize their page, they feel like they're giving everything away. The reality is that the more you give, people are compelled to feel that they know, trust, like, and they want to buy from you. And therefore, that's a great angle to start obviously monetizing your page as well.
Very true. Very true. It shows your expertise. It shows that
Exactly.
you're credible, you're authentic,
Yes.
and you're not necessarily trying to hide something.
This
You-
is it.
And
Absolutely.
people trust you more, and therefore they want to work with you. They say, like, they're not working for the sake of your information. They're working for you. They want you as the person.
Exactly that. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Now, what advice you would give to creators who are afraid of judgment or being misunderstood for the things that they may talk on the camera?
It's very funny. Today, I literally, while I was in the taxi coming here, bro, I posted a video and I said, if you can eat in a restaurant by yourself, then I can't remember the exact script, but it was basically along the lines of, then you have achieved something far greater than most people, and you have overcome the fear of being seen alone, right? And being by yourself, being alone. Because here's the thing: the fear of judgment holds us back. And I often say, do you know where the greatest business ideas are, or the greatest content is? It's not in social media. It's nowhere. It's not on the high streets. It's not in commercial, buildings. It's in the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, that's where all the best ideas that are, which never came to life. Because people simply live their life in the shackles and the constraints of other people's opinions. And I would say that one of the if you can achieve this superpower, you can achieve anything. And that is the ability to live life on your terms and not worry about what other people say. Because that fear of judgment, we will hold so many people back. And that is the biggest thing that, they say only 0.3% or 0.03% of people get 1 million followers on Instagram. Why is that? That's because those people, they did one thing that others didn't do. They took action and they did not care what people think about them. When you can combine those two things with skill set, with a concept, with the packaging, but the key thing is you can't even get the engine to turn on unless you remove the fear of people's judgment of you. When you can do that effectively, that is when you will be able to take off. And obviously, my advice to people is there's only one opinion you need to really truly worry about, other than your mother's and your father's. That is your creator. If you simply keep your creator in mind, and if you are mindful of what he thinks of you, because you're going to return to him. And I always say this, I say, after your death, what's going to happen is people will be talking about sports. They're going to be sitting over coffee. They're going to be talking about, what happened in the news the other day. Then what's going to end up happening is a week later, your kids are going to go back to school. Then a month later, your spouse is going to be watching a comedy, laughing as if you were never there. And you lived your life for the approval of other people, and you did and didn't do things because you were fearful of other people, not realizing that they will also die in a few years as well. And everyone's going to pass away. And therefore, the only entity whose opinion you should really focus on is your creator, which is great because you can do so much in life. Why? because you're not worried about what this person or that person is going to say about you. When you can live that life, believe me, bro, it's the most liberating life ever. It's so sweet and beautiful as well, honestly.
Very sound advice. How can creators manage their time without burning out? Which is a common issue that happens
Very
a lot,
common issue, yeah.
even for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I would say, so here's my best advice. I would say that one of the key things that you have to do as a creator is you need to understand systemization.
Hmm.
Here's what systemization is. Again, we go back to the whole concept of ideas. How do we build ideas? Let's say if you're running out of ideas and you're busy and you're traveling, so what do? Go on Instagram, type in those 20 keywords, whatever, one by one, just type them in. Fatherhood advice, wisdom quote, AI tricks, crypto money, crypto chart, real estate investment. Just whatever your industry, whatever your niche is, go in there and watch the top 5-10 videos, save them, or copy and paste the link into a chat with yourself on WhatsApp. Or make it nice and easy for yourself. Don't make it difficult. Make it something that you could do while you're standing waiting for your taxi. Quickly send it to yourself. Have all of those just going in, going in, going in. You wait 5 minutes for the taxi here, it all goes in. You got 10 videos now. Then you're going to wait for the train, another 5 videos. Then you're going to go home before bed. You're scrolling, another 5 videos. Now, guess what? You've got 25 videos here. Go now, one day in the month, for 1 hour, transcribe them. I'll give it away. Just go and use something like Notta AI. Go to Snap Insta, download the video, put it into Notta AI, transcribe it, copy and paste it. You now have 25 scripts. You've literally done casual scrolling, got all the ideas, but you have 25 scripts in 1 hour. Now you have 25 videos that you could film for the whole month. But when are you going to film these videos? You film them all in one day. You just wear different outfits. You change your outfits. So what have you done? 2 days work, 1 month content. 1 day to get all the scripts down and 1 day to film everything. Just take, when I'm sat on the bench, bro, the only thing I have next to me is a suitcase, change of clothes.
Well, that's a good thing about my suitcase. I'm wearing this, so every day I can wear white and no one will notice. But I have 10 different kanduras and they're all the same color, like approximately white. So, inshallah. That's the thing. It's a funny thing for me because I don't have to wear anything else except during the winter time where we change our color. Sometimes it can be blue, it can be a little bit the golden yellow, it can be a lot of different colors. Usually you see them locals here during the winter time, they will wear different colors.
Yeah.
But our official suit, you could say, for workplaces, for business cases, is white.
That's so cool. Like, as in for everyone doing business here, you wear these clothes. Like, we wear these on Eid, bro. You know what I mean? Because it's our it's the traditional clothes.
This is our everything. This is our business suit. This is our casual wear. This is our home wear.
Is it not a little bit impractical though?
Why?
Like, as in,
it's very simple. You don't have to wear jeans or anything or shoes.
That's true.
You're just wearing a sandal and you go everywhere and you look so good. You look like a rich person.
You know what is? I really love the fact that you guys never lost this element of things. Like, you're very proud of your identity in terms of how you are. Whereas a lot of people, they lost this and they kind of adopted like a Western attire and felt that that's the only way to make money. It's the only way to have business. But you know what's crazy? Money is now being associated with this kandura, with this dress, and it's really strange how that shift happened in the last 20 years, bro.
Absolutely. I mean, because you think about what those people who wear the kandura has achieved.
So this is it.
People see that was an affiliation with the money because of the achievements that have been done in the past 20 years, in the past 50 years, especially in this country. This is a young country, if you think about it. Most countries are over 200 years, 500 years, 1,000 years old.
Wow.
But we're only 50 years old, and look at
what you've achieved. It's crazy.
A desert landscape that has now been building cities and buildings and you name it, theme parks. And now I don't know if you heard about Abu Dhabi right now, they have a Disneyland. It's going to be one of the 7.
Yeah.
Only out of all the Middle East, this is the only place they're going to have.
That's crazy, bro. And it's like, it's in such a short space amount of time. It's the vision to see what this is, bro. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, as in, people are critical of Dubai, right? But from my side, I've come here, like, I heard the adhan at the airport, out on the streets, and it's like,
Even in the mall.
Even in the mall, bro, like as in, you know, here's how I see things. I see Dubai like my Instagram page. And I'll give you an example. My Instagram page, I have more than 50% non-Muslims.
Hmm.
It's a non-Muslim audience, right?
Which is good.
Amazing. I love that.
You know how many people you can convert with that?
Bro, this is what I'm saying. Like it's they come onto my page and they're now into the funnel. But you see, most people, what they and I understand we need those people. We need the mashayikh and the the sheikh, and we need all those people. That's fine. But you see, for someone like myself, it's like a soft approach. They come in, they feel non-threatened, they like the content, they like the value. Oh, and there's this is with a little sprinkle here or there, here or there, here or there. It's like people come to Dubai for business. I'm in like the mall. I'm like there, and there's like white English guys hearing Allahu Akbar, Allahu. Like you have to understand that you don't need to shove things in people's faces all the time. Keep it subtle, keep it gentle, spark the curiosity, spark the fitrah.
Mm.
Just leave it. You don't need to go all in. And I really like this approach. Honestly, it's really, really good. And I feel that this has way more impact than trying to push things through, in my opinion.
A lot of people hear the sound of the prayer and they say, what is that beautiful sound?
Yes.
What is that sound? I want to know more about it. What does he say? And then it builds that curiosity.
This is it.
And from that, you see a lot of people, they go to mosques. There
Yeah.
are special centers, Islamic centers right here that educate those people
Yeah.
and to then about Islam,
Absolutely.
about what does it mean to be a Muslim.
Wow.
And then eventually you see a lot of them convert. They come here for the first time. They never heard about the religion. They come here, they hear the sound of the prayer. They get more curious. They see the people, how they treat them, the Muslim people around. They see the spirit of Ramadan, truly the essence
Yeah.
of Ramadan here, that you most rarely ever feel in Western communities. But you see the essence here, the giving, the act of giving, the act of community. And then that just builds into you. You feel like you want to be part of it.
Wow. And that there is incredible because it's done in such a unique, subtle way without it being overtly in your face. It's just there. It's just available. And you know what's crazy, bro? You know when the kind of the Muslims first basically went to different lands, etc. When they went to Egypt, for example, Amr ibn al-As, he was the kind of governor of Egypt. They didn't force convert anybody. This is the crazy thing. They didn't force convert anyone. They went there. They were in charge of the government. They were in the mosque. They said, look, if you want to learn, we're here. You can carry on, do what you need to do, trade, live happy, keep your churches, keep all of this. That's why there's still 8% Coptic Christians, because we never force converted anybody. And I think what people don't realize and understand is that Islam is not there to coerce people. Islam is there, established. We are here. If you wish to learn, you're more than marhaba. You're more than welcome.
Because in Islam, it's more about the belief than anything else.
Yeah.
What's the point of trying to force people to,
If they don't
be Muslims,
yeah.
when they're in their heart, they're never truly Muslim?
Yeah, it's so true. Honestly, exactly that, 100%. But so this is why, like, as in, and I like to think for myself. I don't care what people tell me, but people can say to me all day, all night, "Oh, Dubai is like this." Yeah, fine. You know what? Cool, whatever. But I've come here and I've seen it, and I've understood that this place here is incredibly unique when it comes to its positioning. And I think about things from a very strategic lens. That's why my page is different to most people's. I'm not the type of person that says, if you don't see kind of the Sharia police on the streets, no, bro. The reality is that this here is a commercial, it's a consumer capital of the world, in my opinion, right? It's attracting so many people in so many unique different ways. And then it has the adhan, and then it has the mosque, and then it has Ramadan, the Islamic sin. And it just subtle sprinkles it here and there, here and there. And then from there, through that environment, people are curious and they awaken the fitrah, and that curiosity leads them to research. And you leave them on their own, let them do their own research, Those are the people that truly will believe afterwards, because if you force them and push it, it doesn't work like that, So honestly speaking, for myself, I feel that this is like the epicenter of world da'wah, in my opinion. I believe that this is actually one of the places where it's truly happening,
So, do you see Dubai playing a bigger role in your mission going forward?
I do. Absolutely. I think these 12 days here have taught me so much. I truly think that it's shaped my way of thinking when it comes to the future of my own content, the future of how I see networking, business, opportunity. I've met with, I think, like 9 to 11 millionaires here. And we were saying this offline, and it was like, they're so welcoming, and it's like open to opportunities. They want to see you succeed and them succeed. And it's like, at the bottom, everyone's fighting each other. Here, it's like everyone's collaborating together.
You don't feel that in the UK?
You know what is? You do, but at the same time, because you're mixed with so many different types of people, you don't know what level they're at. You don't understand their agenda. Whereas here, there's like a separation. Because of that separation, people don't feel threatened because they've already kind of made it. They're here because of a specific reason. They need to save money on taxes. And there's so many other things. Like me right now, I'm trying to set up like my businesses in Dubai. We're in like the process of kind of getting it started.
And I can help you with that if you never had said it yet.
Yeah, inshallah, amazing.
Inshallah.
So we're looking to do that, and it's like the reason being is because obviously taxes, we're struggling, to kind of pay those taxes, and we want to be able to kind of have a foot here.
45%.
Bro, it's crazy. Wallahi, it's honestly it's ridiculous. And so I feel the pull here is so big. I want to come here every few months. I literally have had so many people offer to work with. They want to take my services. I teach people personal branding and content creation, but I don't advertise too much about it, right? But when they see my page, they're like, "Can you help me? And these are wealthy people, and they're like, just need some help, just with this and that. Show us what to do, how to create content, how to make the scripts better. Can you just help me out a little bit?" And it's like, they're so happy. They're like, "Brother, we'll fly you over. We'll do this. We'll do that." And I'm like, wow, people are really like, they really want to be successful. There's no little fighting. No one like, oh, little, okay, but yeah, okay, go, just give me that 10 pounds. I want that 10 pounds. Like in the UK, you get that. In the UK, you get, and I'm not saying UK is bad, right? I'm just simply saying is that, you're mixed in with so many people that from a commercial perspective, sometimes the waters are muddied. Here, I like it because everyone has some type of ambition. Everyone's trying to network. Everyone's trying to build. Everyone's trying to grow. And honestly speaking, I've really, really enjoyed my time here. I can see myself having a lot more things in Dubai and a lot more Dubai to be a bigger part of my future trajectory as well, inshallah.
Or just let me know when you want to set up in Dubai. I'll be sure to help you out.
Okay, inshallah. Sounds good.
As a brother to brother.
May Allah bless you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's go into this question that I might be a little bit controversial.
Sure.
What is that one thing that most Muslims misunderstand about your content?
About my content? Oh, very good question. I've stopped using the word Allah. I've now started using the word God, and I've stopped using religious terminology. And the reason that is, bro, is because I've realized that my audience is now going towards a non-Muslim audience. And if I am to continue doing what I did, and especially, living in the West, if I kind of wear like the Islamic attire, like I'm sitting in the cold. And if I can't wear that in the cold, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? So the UK dress, how the people in the UK dress, I'm dressed like them. I'm one of them. And so for me, I see them as my people. I need to help them. But how do I help the Western people? I can't, if I become a sheikh, قال الله قال رسول, you can
It's
do
a very, very, it feels like a very aggressive way.
It does. And you see, bro, the thing with that, there's people that do that, and fine, they have a role and they have their audience and people need to listen to them and they got to do their job, absolutely. But for me, I believe my positioning is different. Now, with the followers that I have and the growth that I have, I feel the responsibility on my shoulders is very different, and it's to package the message to those people who would maybe never hear about the religion. I see myself as the Dubai on social media, which is basically create a welcoming environment for everyone, make it valuable for everyone, and then, if you want to hear it, if you want to learn about it, it's there. It's there. There's a sprinkle of it. And so just how most people confuse Dubai and they say, oh, they are this, there. I feel with myself, a lot of Muslims may feel that I am basically compromising my values for the sake of appeasement. It's not appeasement. There's a strategy involved. There's a vision involved. And that vision is make it easy for non-Muslims to follow you. So then those non-Muslims are curious to learn about Islam who maybe never would have learned about Islam. Just like those people here who are attending the gyms here, business meetings here, coming from California, coming from Chicago, coming from London, and they're attending white non-Muslims here. And then they hear the call to prayer. Guess what? Oh, Wow. But they would never come to Dubai if they saw that there was a man with a massive beard standing at the airport saying, have you prayed yet? That it's not gonna work like that. You need to understand we live in a different environment. We live in a different world now where we have to try and, yes, keep your same values. Yes, don't compromise on your values, but package it differently. Have a strategy, have a vision. And I feel that's where a lot of Muslims misunderstand me. And I feel this is something that I'm happy to clarify, but I also feel that I want people to see a vision in this. I want people to have more strategy, more thought behind their content.
With content, is it really possible to grow fast online without being controversial?
I think so. I absolutely think so. I think with me, this is one of the things that I've been able to achieve is that, okay, cool. I think previously, a few years ago, I've said a few things, but by and large, I believe if you can package value and get people to feel something, I truly believe you can make incredible traction online. Incredible. But you have to be true and authentic. This is why when I sit down and I'm about to make my videos, I don't make it like, let's just quickly make some videos. I pause for a second. I'm like, okay, who would want to receive this message? Maybe my cousin, maybe my auntie, maybe my friend, maybe that person that I love, that I met, okay. And then I say my speech. And I feel that because of that, bro, I feel that's where a lot of people, perhaps they see content as just, I need to make some money quickly and I need to do scroll stopping, controversial stuff. And the reality is, yes, make it interesting. Don't make it boring. But I believe you can engineer videos in a way where it's not boring, it's not controversial, it's value packed, and it's viral worthy. Absolutely, I fully believe in that.
Now that you tasted success in a way that you have a lot of followers in multiple different channels, is there that uncomfortable truth about success that you
Mm.
believe people are avoiding discussing?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's the fact that today's value is placed on followers more than any substance. If they see someone with 2, 3, 5, 10 million followers, instantly that person becomes an icon of value. Whereas we're taught in our religion that true richness and true wealth is the contentment of the heart. And you could have someone who is riding a Kareem scooter, delivering food. He goes home, his kids run up to him, and he's happy with his small meal for the day. And he prays his prayer and he goes to sleep. And I truly believe that, intrinsically speaking, value is now plastic and perceived. I believe it's fake, a lot of it. And I'm saying this to you as someone who is in that space, as someone who gets invited to events, to collaborations and podcasts and to all these other places. I believe that the true contentment lies in having a peaceful mind, a peaceful life. And that can be achieved through wealth and through fame and status and all these things. But you need to be aware of when it gets to a point where people just use you for your name.
Mm.
And I think that's the point where I'm at now in my life, is that a lot of people are using me for my name and my status online. And because it's very fast, I'm still trying to navigate it, but I'm seeing more and more clearly now. And I don't mind providing value because I have an access to an audience. Absolutely don't mind providing value. But it's when it's the only reason someone wants to connect with you is because you have those followers. That's when it's a case of, it becomes, wallahi akhi, it becomes tough, bro, because you work so hard for this and you want to help provide value to people and you're compassionate, wanting to see people benefit and do khair. But then there's this element where people are just sucking the life out of you. They just want to use your followers. I don't mind people using the platform, but at least let's be friends.
Mm.
At least let's connect.
Genuinely know the person,
Genuine. I've
not
had
just for the sake of monetary value or the things that you can get out of this person.
I've been invited onto podcasts, and the brother invites me, and there's no conversation. We had a little chit chat before we were talking. There's no conversation. Hey, how are you? Okay. Yeah. So just look at that camera and look at everything video. Okay. I do it, and I'm just waiting just to kind of get a little conversation. He's like, okay, brother, the podcast studio has finished now. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I'll send you the video.
It was a very robotic.
So for me, bro, I don't mind sitting, talking, chatting, and it does become robotic. And it's just for me, I prefer to have at least some type of a connection or relationship,
Mm.
because then I want to love that person. I want to have the compassion in my heart. I want to build a relationship, even offline. WhatsApp that person. How's everything going? How you keeping? You said all that sort of stuff. So I've seen now more and more people leverage my channel, which is fine, but I want to at least have some type of relationship as well. And I feel that in the social media space, it's all about the clout and the numbers. And people are seeing an opportunity to just leverage your channel. How can I get in front of that audience? And that's fine, but at least be a human as well. Be a good Muslim as well. Be a brother, you know? And I think the ayah in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ, especially Muslims, we're brothers. And I think that's the first bond that we have, that we are brothers. And we should see each other like that, because that's something unique that we have that nobody else has. That Allah calls us brothers in the Quran. And therefore, we should use that as our anchor, as our pillar. It is something that holds us, binds us together, Business relationships are important, they're good. You need them to get things moving. You need contracts, you need all this. But I think strip all of that away. Look at how you feel in Ramadan. When you're sat in the masjid, when you're talking, when you're sitting, when you're praying tarawih, when you're eating food together. That feeling, bro? It's different. You can't compare that to any other feeling. And I feel when you have that, that's unique. And I feel that a lot of people, especially non-Muslims, they don't have that feeling. And I find that with social media today, I feel that that is getting lost. And I wish to revive that.
Don't you feel that, especially after the COVID pandemic, despite the numerous social media access that people have, despite the followers, the connections, the influencers that you connected with, we are more lonely today than ever before?
You've nailed it, bro. You've nailed it, because I think that we are all together in our loneliness. And I genuinely believe that we are missing this element of looking your brother in the eye and being like, "In yuhibbukum fillah. Wallahi, I love you for the sake of Allah." Bro, for me, that there is what builds true relationships. When you can look at a brother and be like, "I love you for the sake of Allah, and I genuinely want to be your brother and friend." Because the world is a very lonely place, bro. It is lonely. And it makes it worse when you think you have a relationship with someone, but you actually don't. That's the worst thing. See, I don't mind having just a business relationship, and I know it's just a business relationship. But then when you feel some closeness, but then you don't get that back, that's when it hurts.
Mm.
And I feel for me, bro, the key thing in all of this is trying to always remember that slow things down. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, he used to make everyone feel welcome. He used to do two key things. Whenever he would address somebody, he would make sure to address them by name. The second thing was he would never speak to them like this. He would always turn his body fully, and he'd put his thumb into his hand and he'd hold it there, which is a neutral, non-threatening posture. And people who have studied body language, they say that this is the most neutral posture. And he used to be the master at that. Bro, he understood psychology better than anyone, to the point where Amr ibn al-As, he was not a Muslim for 16 years. He became a Muslim, went to Medina, and then he said, "I think the Prophet loves me more than anyone. I'm going to go ask him." Amr was brave, right? He was very kind of, he was like a wise, brave man. So he wanted to ask him. So he goes up to him and he says to him, "Who do you love the most?" He says, "Aisha." Then he says, amongst the men, Abu Bakr, her father. Okay, I'm definitely next. Who next? Omar. Fine. Who next? I'm definitely next. He goes, Uthman. He goes, forget it, man. I'm not going to ask anymore. Why? Because he felt that closeness. And I think we're losing that more and more, bro. And I think we have to understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The third thing there is belonging, acceptance, and love. When you remove that, you remove a part of the human experience. And I think we should try and revive that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's a thing as a reminder for people to know that despite the loneliness that we see today in this world, there might be even a chance of meeting genuine people who are feeling the same thing.
And I also feel, bro, I also feel that it's like when about 100 years ago, they had horses, but cars were rare. Now we have cars and horses are rare. What does this mean? Now the connections are all meta connections. They're all fragile, fragmented, and they feel like they're connected online. It's all digitalized, but now a human connection, a genuine handshake, a hug from your brother, a kiss on the forehead, a genuine eye contact, mentioning someone by name, smiling in your brother's face, that will be rare. And therefore, those that leverage that will be able to build relationships and genuine connections and have a better human experience, in my opinion.
Now, this is my one last question for you, and it's a very important one. Have you ever worried that your fame could harm your spirituality? And how do you handle it?
SubhanAllah. What an amazing question, bro. Yes, I have. And I think that is the worry of any person who has a religious themed page, is that you as an individual get lost in the fame. And it's one of the hardest things to navigate because, let's just be honest, we love it. We love the status. We love the attention. But this is where you have to do something called muhasab. You have to have accountability. And if you don't have accountability, you can lose yourself, bro. And you can even pretend like it's not happening. You can pretend like, oh, yeah, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. There is this thing that your heart starts to feel attached to it. We went to one of the local gyms, and there was like 4 cameras out. They were waiting for me, and there was like an opening day, and it was really, really nice. And they got a driver to come pick us up in the GMC, and the driver was dressed nicely, and he was like, "Sir, thank you, opening the doors." And bro, I'm feeling this for the first time. I said to him, "Put on the Dubai radio for Quran," and just heard the Quran in the car. Afterwards, we left the gathering. I was like, "Subhanallah, this is what the soul needs, man." And I think if you're conscious of it, then it's important to always fight it. But if you're not conscious of it and you let it go wild, it will consume you. Because fame is a drug. It's something that when you walk into a room and heads turn and they look at you, the Salaf used to say, if you like that, go and weep over your sins. Go to the graveyard. Go and do something to just humble yourself. Why? Because that there is something that will destroy you. Why? When you walk into the room and the heads turn and they look at you, they say that's the beginning of your destruction. Every man who has always wanted that feeds nothing but his ego. And the more he feeds that, the more he craves it. And the more he craves it, the more he does ujub, self-amazement. Look at me, look at what I have achieved. And when you do that as a human being on this earth, Allah says, فَاسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ, that they were arrogant on the earth with no right. You have no right, because you are a nutfa. You are a sperm drop, and you will turn to turab. You will turn to dust, and you will stand in front of the king. And wallahi, when you think of that reality, you think of al-qari'ah, al-zalzala, you think of the last day, you think of the final standing in front of Allah, wallahi, we're nothing. And when you can remind yourself of these realities, that's when you bring yourself all the way back down, wallahi, and you humble yourself and you realize that we're here for a few days. Allah will ask us on the Day of Judgment, قَالَ كَمْ لَبِثْتَ, how long did you stay on earth? قَالَ يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ, a day, a portion of a day, And think about that. All of your existence on earth will come to يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ, a day or a portion of a day. And when you can remind yourself of this reality, I truly believe that is when you can truly, truly, truly understand and subdue this beast, this nafs, this ego, and you can tell it, you are nothing. Allah is, we are faqir, we are poor. Allah is ghani. And when you know that Allah is ghani, you humble yourself and you always ask Him for aid. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim, 17 times a day we say it. Why? It's not just ihdina sirat, it is a statement of constant humility. Guide us to the straight path. Guide us. Islam is a religion of submission. You put your forehead on the ground. You humble your most noble part of your face, your nose. In boxing, when you get hit on your nose, that's the most humiliating part, right? Hit on your face. You put it on the ground. Why? Because this is to remind you that no matter what, fame, status, wealth, anything, that's who you are.
You're submitted to God at
This
the
is
very end.
Wallahi.
You're
So
a slave to God.
thank you for asking such a beautiful question, bro, because honestly speaking, this is a reminder for me. My ears are the closest to my tongue. So whenever I speak, I feel that this affects me more than anything. And I've really benefited from these questions. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm glad. So where can people reach out to you?
So they can reach out to me on my Instagram, the Sunnah Guy, on TikTok as well. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they can do bi'idhnillah on my channel. I have a form there. Anyone who would like to collaborate with myself, I work with a management company called 610. They basically manage my page and manage my channel for all collaborations. And I have a team that deals with my inbox. So, be sure if you saw us on this podcast, mention you saw us on this podcast and reach out to us, and we'll very much be open for collaboration, inshallah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting.
And I hope Dubai treated you well.
Oh, it was amazing. Honestly, I'll be back here soon.
Thank you.